So warning, the messy data excuse is hiding a massive potential time bomb in your back office. Hi there and welcome to The Breathing Room. Our data is a mess is the reality for almost every organization I've ever worked in or spoken to. And your data lives in 5 different systems that probably don't even talk to each other. But the real crisis isn't the IT architecture. The real crisis is actually what your exhausted teams are missing because of it or not doing because of it, because the data is a mess. Your team is like manually pulling figures and data by hand and increasing the risk every single day. So today we're talking about messy data risk and why manual integration is a potential time bomb and why AI is the only tool that can actually catch those errors and do all that work for you before you get into trouble. My name is Laura Chattington. I partner with organizations to help them embed AI into their work streams so that they can save time, add more value, and fully leverage AI to scale. I'm here with Tara Lee, who has over 20 years experience in health, social care, and the third sector, and has a background of commissioning in over £500 million and focuses on driving transformational programs that really deliver tangible results. And today we're talking about messy data, Tara Lee, and I know this is one of your favorite topics because I feel like this is your area of like expertise, or one of them.
We live and breathe this one, Laura. So pretty much every organization that we walk into, the situation is very similar in terms of the data being held in siloed systems.
Yeah.
We've got some data held in rostering systems, some in clinical systems, some in shared drives, some in different logs. And it's really quite tricky, isn't it? Because the systems don't talk to each other. So what happens in reality is our corporate teams, our hard-working corporate teams have to be the bridge and are pulling all of that data quite often manually from all of these different sources. They're having to pull it from PDF documents, checking against spreadsheets in this system, a Word document in this system, and it's all manual.
And I think that apart from the fact it takes gazillions of time, right? And we all do it, or we've all done it. When you're like, you're doing, maybe it's something you're repeating. You're like, gosh, if I just had time to sort this data out or sort these files out, then I would, what takes me 2 hours would only take me 10 minutes kind of thing.
But this is staff under pressure, isn't it?
Exactly.
They're working to really tight deadlines. They're working to multiple committees or multiple reporting lines, reports for external commissioners, reports for internal assurance. So it's every month we've got staff that are under pressure with deadlines, but with data to
and they just don't have the time to do it. And so, and because I always like to think about the repercussions of these things, like not only is it a time factor, and there is a massive time factor, and in the old days we were just like, when I used to think in the old days, before AI, in the old days, it's the sort of thing I would do over the Christmas holiday. Do you know what I mean? While everyone else is off, maybe that's not so much in the urgent care, but in the Christmas holiday, you'd be like, right, well, no one's around. I'm actually going to go through and sort all that data, all those files out, and just get some like version control or something like, or work out where are all the contracts that we have been using.
Our Christmas periods in urgent cares tend to be slightly more busy.
So in the summer holidays, when everyone's on holiday in the summer and nobody's using urgent care services, I'm going to go through all the contracts. I'm going to go through all the procurement stuff. I'm going to go through all the files that we use for, customer communication or whatever it is, and get it sorted. And usually that doesn't ever happen because life never works like that, right? So there are lots of, it just takes teams so much more time than it actually has to. But also on the other flip side of that as well is there's risk. There is time bomb, like contractual implications, let's say, and we're not lawyers, and we never ever say we are lawyers, but there may be contractual issues that are not seen, right? There may be procurement deals that are running out, but you don't know they're running out, or that you're being charged 10 times what you should be because no one's actually joined up the dots, or actually other worse kind of repercussions.
Yeah, so our people aren't robots, are they? And if we've got staff, human beings, trying to pull data from 5 different sources or systems, and they're trying to pull it from a range of different formats, inevitably you've got a risk of error in that and mistake. And, you know, every time we manually copy and paste, there's a potential risk of reporting error. You know, every time we rush a summary around, you know, a complex reflection on a bit of narrative, there's a risk that we might not quite land the messaging that we were hoping to land. And quite often, you know, the real trickiness and the real risk is that we sometimes don't realize those errors until it's too late. You know, the report's been done, it's either gone to a board or it's gone to a director for sign off. You know, then we've onward shared that either through to a board or to our external commissioning partners. So that can be really, really tricky, isn't it? In terms of, and, you know, because we don't always have the capacity to go back and fact check everything when we're under such pressure in terms of the timelines.
I feel like my face is doing walking. I'm just like, oh god, oh, yeah. It makes my stomach turn. Those, you know, documents being sent to the board that aren't right, decisions being made. You know, and the only time you actually have to deal with it when something happens that's really bad, and then you're like, oh my god, we've got to go, and then that takes a whole load of other time. So
absolutely,
I think it is a reality of every human being on the planet that works in any kind of back office environment, because nobody has enough time. And as I was saying, the old way of solving this was like during the Christmas / summer holidays, whichever one works for your industry, where no one else is in the office, and you're like, I've got to go and sort that. I've got to go and sort that out. Otherwise, something awful is going to happen. And that was what you had to do in the old days. But now you've got AI. It's a place where there is so much time saved and so much value. And I can like reel off like numbers to you. Like, it used to take me a week to put those board papers together, and now it takes me 2 hours. I used to go through all those CVs, and it used to take me weeks, and now it takes me, you know, an hour. It doesn't even take me an hour, right? We used to like put together contracts, and we never really knew. We didn't have that data that which contracts were out of date, because we never had time to go through them all properly. And there were times where there was a break in the supply chain, right? There are so many areas of this that AI can just handle for you so fast.
And what about when the data is super messy? So, you know, not all of it, as we say, different formats, not all neat rows and columns. You know, it could be really long, rambling emails with tables and a whole range of stuff in it, rough bullet points, poorly formatted Word documents. You know, how can AI support in terms of pulling all of that together, Laura?
Well, I like AI because it doesn't mind about those things. It doesn't care if you spell badly. It doesn't care if your formats or your files are in the different format. It doesn't care if you throw loads of things at it and it's like, hold on, it's not all neat and tidy. It just sucks it all in, and it helps you process all of that. And actually, not only will it do that, is it will also help you kind of systemize the process as well, right? So it isn't just taking messy data, and you do need to sort it out. You know, you will need to sort it out, but again, the time it would normally take you can be done so much quicker, and it can help you do the kind of like, here are all the files you need to get sorted. Here's how we're going to set it up. You know, all of that thinking, processing, doing. AI is going to speed that up by about 100x.
And there's that added value, isn't there? So we're not only pulling the data, but we're synthesizing it. That in itself can help to flag inconsistencies in the data, and we can train our AI to support us to do that through the right sorts of prompts. And that means we catch potentially some of those potential errors early on. We have figures, the narrative matches the data. So, and all of that can happen before a paper goes to a committee, before a paper goes to an external commissioner. So it's not just about saving time, is it? It's also massively reducing that potential assurance risk, and protecting the organisation from a whole range of potential risk factors, including inaccurate reporting, reputational risk, contractual risk, all of that. So, it pulls, but also does the analysis for us and synthesizes as well, doesn't it?
And interpretation, and also things we as humans we won't look for because we don't have a million brains. So actually that AI can really help, like really run lots of different analysis and interpretation of that data while you're just putting in place that workflow. So it's what, again, we're going to say it again, it's like it's like the non-sexy part of AI in the back office, but it's going to save so much time, it's going to add so much value, and it's going to give people time back, and just the level of work is just going to be exponentially better as well, which means that everybody starts operating just better, and it's a high return application for using AI, right? So it's non-sexy, high return use of AI. So if you want to find out more about how to do that, really about what your priorities are and where, that some of that messy data lives and some of that time sink lives, and also the risk to your organization, then get in touch with the Breathing Room, get in touch with Tara-Leigh or myself on LinkedIn, and we will talk a little bit more about it with you. And great that you're here, great that you're watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you next week.